Hello, everyone. Welcome to Secrets of Saltmarsh. This is our 5th edition D&D Greyhawk campaign featuring Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I am your DM and host, Luna, and we're going to go ahead and get started for today. Real quick, we want to give a shout out to our Patreons. Thank you so much. Without your support, all the one-shots, marathons, and 3-shots that we do on this channel would not be possible. All the lovely people that you see on the screen here are our Patreons. If you want more information about what you can do and get for being a Patreon, you can check out that link there. You can also find all of our previous episodes on YouTube. Link there also in the chat. And if you want to interact with this game, there are a couple of ways you can do so. You can redeem a blessing to the player of your choice with free chat channel points that you accrue for hanging out. Or if you want to add an element of fate to the narrative, every $10 guarantees a draw from the deck of many things to the player of your choice. Let's jump right into it and reintroduce our characters and the people at our table. Can I please get Emma to tell me about who you are and who you're playing today?
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. I'm also writing a TTRPG called All the Witches, and I've got a Twitter for that now. So if you want updates about that thing, you can follow it at allthewitches_ on Twitter. Thank you, Joel, also known as Runaway Robot, for the idea about the underscore. I am playing Arlen Rubella. She is a cleric / warlock that was led down a path of darkness for a while, and now she's kind of overcome that, but is in a new deal with some sort of entity, and it's all a big confusing mess at the moment, but that's her.
Excellent. Thank you. GeekDice is not here today, but will be joining us next time. Next in our row here, we've got Godfather Wraith.
Hi, I'm Godfather Wraith, V_ESG, or you can call me Godfather Wraith, GFW, Tim, pretty much anything you want except late for class. I'm playing Garen. He's a quiet rogue, just kind of there until he wants you to know it.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Old Dragon, for the blessing to Godfather Wraith, the very first one for today. Next, we have Indicarus.
Hi, I'm John, also known as Indicarus on the internet, and I'm playing Pole of Ammonfort. Pole is a warlock of the hero deity Heward, and he is like his patron, pacifist, tries to do things a non-violent way and get along as well as he can. But he's a bit naive, so he sometimes needs a little help from his more violent familiar, whose name is Penny Sprinkle, and she helps him out when he gets in too much trouble.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Emma, for the blessing to Pole. And also thank you, Runaway Robot, for the 2 card draws to Pole. Pole, you get 2 cards. Please tell me when to stop.
Wow, thanks, everybody. I think. It's now.
Okay. Ooh, good one. All right, one more.
Now.
Less good. Okay.
No kill eye.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Next, we have Zombie Fighter 89.
Hello, I'm Jacob. I'm Zombie IMZ. I am one of those 3 names you like to call me. I'm the lore keeper, the clip master. I probably do too many clips, but that's up to your own discretion. I am today playing Finn Carson, who's a brains researcher who has more or less been having sort of a time. I mean, I think he did pretty okay within the battle with his shiny rock. And last that I can remember from Finn is that he was feeling a little, maybe I should be a little bit more forthcoming with, coming up with when I'm at the table negotiating and stuff he's trying to learn, that's about it for me.
Excellent. Thank you. Last time on Secrets of Saltmarsh, we had pursued a lead given to us by a priest of the Temple of Procan here in Saltmarsh. There was rumor of an abandoned temple somewhere in the nearby marsh that could perhaps bring some kind of solution to the curse or the bad fortune that has come over Saltmarsh. Over the last week or so, we haven't had a single drop of rain, and also there has been an absence of fish, which has absolutely corrupted and brought great conflict all throughout Saltmarsh here. But today, shortly after you have returned from your adventure in the temple, the rain has come, and there are people standing in the streets. Some of them have their mouths open, their hands stretched out to the sky, and there are people dancing in the streets. We will start today right in the tavern. Inside of the snapping line, we see Arlen currently engaged in a bit of revelry with Jeff, the city town guard. Hannah has slipped away at some point. You don't know where she has gone or for what reason. There are still patrons in the snapping line. Arlen, you're currently sitting at the counter here, and you can see people are starting to get a little impatient. There's no one to serve the drinks. Hannah has slipped out of the building.
All right, I'll go and find her. Don't worry, everyone. I'll stand up from wherever I'm sitting, like stretch, and we'll go out the door wherever I saw Hannah go out.
Okay. She did go out the front door, and as you're kind of standing up, Jeff kind of sits up and he's like, Shall I tend the bar?
Yeah, just make sure that you collect the money from people.
Oh.
And make sure that you deposit it in the proper place.
Of course. I'm an upstanding citizen. Of course I will. Of course. And you see him like hop off his little stool, and he like his armor like clanks as he walks around the bar, and you just see this like really wiry elderly man just kind of put his hands on the counter looking way too excited, way too mischievous, and he's like, "All right, who wants the first drink?"
And
I'll
then
have
I
one.
step outside.
You see Jeff like this, "Oh, Paul, yes, come here, skip the line. What would you like?"
Beer?
"Ah, beer." And then you see him turn around. He gets the biggest mug there is. Like, clearly this is meant for, like, I don't know, milk or something. It's just way too big for beer. And you see him just fill it all the way. And you see the froth coming out the sides and just make an absolute mess. He comes over and very proudly puts it in front of you.
Wow, that's what I call beer. Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. You can see that he's also poured one for himself. And he clinks it with yours. And he begins to drink it as other people are just kind of watching and looking at the two of you. Finn, you would be able to hear downstairs that there are people mumbling and groaning about.
Oh, I thought there was more. Sorry.
No.
Finn will. He's just laying in bed. Is this is the same night then? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
After you have your nightmare.
Oh yeah, after I have my nightmare. Yeah. So Finn will kind of like. We'll just go right into that then. He'll kind of wake up a little bit startled from it. I don't know where Bims is, but Finn's gonna be very like visibly startled and hold on, look over, kind of grab his necklace, look at it, open it up a bit, and look at it, and just kind of do the whole "I miss you." I don't know what I don't know what that nightmare could have meant, other than maybe just I got to be a little bit more confident. I got to redeem you. I got to redeem everybody. this great evil just can't come in and destroy everything. No sense in going back to sleep. May as well have a drink. And then he'll close it up, put it around his neck, and then he'll get up and try to look down to see if Bims is maybe on the floor or wherever, not step on him, and just decide, I'll be social, I guess, and walk down and get a drink.
Okay. You absolutely do not see Bims. Bims is probably somewhere in your room, invisible at the moment.
Yeah, he usually likes to be.
So as you start coming down the stairs, you can see that Pole is currently sitting at the counter, has a very, very large beer. You can see Arlen is actively beginning to make her way through the crowd, heading towards the front door. And you see that there is a smattering of people by the bar. They seem to be waiting. Jeff is behind the bar. And Arlen, as you were about to open the door and leave, Garen is there.
Hey, Garen, did you see Hannah out there anywhere?
No, but I wasn't looking for her.
All right, well, I'm gonna go find her.
Would you like some help?
Sure.
Okay.
If you'd like. Where were you?
Oh, I went to see Anders, check in with him, and just just see how things were with him after everything.
And?
About as you would expect. He was out there, out in the courtyard, laughing, having fun alongside all of his staff, except that one asshole.
Well, hopefully he remembers who did this for him then.
I'm sure he will.
Hannah's been gone for a while, so let's try to see and make sure she's all right.
Yes. Let's find her.
Okay. As the two of you head out, can I get survival checks from both of you?
Yes, once I get my character sheet open again.
Let's see if you can track somebody here in the muddied streets of Saltmarsh while people are out dancing.
Yeah, that's gonna be real easy.
Good thing I'm
Yes.
great at survival.
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow.
actually. I
Oh
was
my
alive.
gosh. That is a 28 from Garen and a 6 from Arlen.
Good thing I brought Garen with me.
Right?
Yeah. Arlen, all you see is just a swirl of people, a swirl of color. There are just... you totally forgot that there were these many people here in Saltmarsh. Garen, you are able to pick out the very distinctive frame of Hannah as she's weaving through the crowd. You see that she has on her wine burgundy colored cloak over her head, and she is making her way towards the docks.
Arlen, this way. And
All right.
goes with.
Okay. As the two of you skirt away in pursuit of Hannah, Finn, you see Pole is up by the bar, and as you're coming up, Pole, someone has received their drink and begins to talk to you, saying, "Oh, did you know that in Saltmarsh, sometimes on a moonless night, you can meet the ghost of a drowned sailor trying to get home? If you lead one home, you'll get a wish. If you fail, they'll strangle you."
Oh, that's good, I guess, to lead them home then, eh?
Yes.
Have you ever seen one?
No, but I do have with me a copy of every person who's ever lived in Saltmarsh and their family names and where they live. It's the pages are yellow. I call it the yellow pages. Look.
Oh my god.
And you see him pull out a book. It's just like a journal. And he opens it. It looks like it's handwritten. It's just a bunch of family names and addresses.
Wow, so you're like sort of a town scribe then?
Actually, I'm a cobbler by trade, but maybe I could moonlight as one. Haha.
A cobbler?
Aye.
Do you make any shoes that aren't made of leather?
I suppose I could. I haven't, though.
I
But
make my own out of wood, but they're not very comfortable.
Oh, out of wood?
Yeah, carve them.
Oh,
Takes a long time.
yes. I could see that being such a thing. Would you like to commission me to make you some wooden shoes?
Yeah.
All right. And you see him, like, actively put the yellow book away. He says, 5 gold.
5 gold for shoes.
Made of wood.
I'll make my own. Sorry, that's too much.
And he kind of, like, pats you on the back. And then he turns and he begins to just talk to a random person.
Well, Paul's getting a bit drunk from his humongous beer, his pitcher of beer. So I think he's actually going to be confident enough that he's going to join in. Everyone's dancing and stuff, so he's going to take out his lute, his magic lute that he got from Heward, and start playing along. If anyone's playing some music, he'll try and play along with them. He's not trained whatsoever, but he's going to try anyways. He's been practicing in his room.
Oh my god, I love that. Okay. You do have a magical lute.
Of illusions.
Yes. I'm trying to see real quick. Instrument. I think it gives you proficiency too. Let me check. No, it doesn't give you proficiency. Okay, so go ahead and roll me a performance check here.
All right.
Wow, 21. Excellent. So we're going to say that nobody is playing any sort of music. People are just kind of dancing to their own whim here. But as you begin to pick a tune, somehow the instrument almost seems to play underneath your fingers. You seem to be able to pick just the right notes at just the right time. You have this wonderful cadence. What kind of mood of a song do you want to play?
Well, everyone's having fun because it's raining for the first time in so long, so it's going to be a fun song. It's going to be a jig or a reel, something that people can dance to really fast.
Absolutely.
Roll around in the mud.
Yes. So you can see that the spirits of everyone around you immediately begin to be lifted at the tone of your song. You do get to choose the illusion that this particular lute makes. What does it look like as you're playing this very merry tune?
I don't really know. What are the limits of the illusion? Like, how big can it be, and can it move, or is it static?
Harmless illusory visual effects within a 5-foot radius centered on the instrument. You are not a bard, so... Okay, if you were a bard, the radius would increase to 15 feet. Sample visual effects include luminous musical notes, a spectral dancer, butterflies, gently falling snow. They can have neither substance or sound. They're obvious illusions. So I would say just as long as they don't have matter, you can do whatever you want here.
Okay, well, I'll make an illusion of another dancing sprite that will dance with Penny Sprinkle if she's so inclined. I'll see if she wants to, but I'll start it up anyway. Hey, Penny! Penny, come here! I found someone who wants to dance with you. I
haven't danced in quite a bit. Oh. You see her like fluttering over and she's flushed. She's obviously excited. What does her companion look like as you form it out of pure music?
Well, I think Paul doesn't know that much about other sprites besides Penny, so it's probably gonna look a lot like Penny, but he'll maybe change the color of the clothes. That's about it.
Okay, I love it. Penny like grabs at their hands and obviously goes through and then kind of pretends to be holding their hands, and you see the two of them dancing merrily through the air, glitter and sparkles trailing throughout. Finn, this is all happening right in front of you.
He's watching and he's enjoying the show, and he'll go to sit by the bar stand and notice, watch all the things, and then kind of look over at Jeffrey, and he'll go, "I've got two questions for you, my friend."
Finn, hello! Do you want a giant mug? Oh, wait, we're all out of mugs. Do you want a bowl of beer?
A bowl of beer, right? All right. Two things before I get this bowl of beer from you. Number one, who let you behind the bar? And number two, does Anna know?
Well, Hannah is not here, and it was Arlen. Arlen let me behind the bar. You know that Arlen's in charge.
Oh, true.
I am bartending with great authority.
Arlen will be very glad to hear that you used her name in such matter.
I wouldn't lie to you. Do you want the bowl of beer or not?
Yeah, I can't sleep, so yeah, sure, I'll have a bowl of beer.
He excitedly clanks away, grabs a soup bowl, fills it with beer, comes up to you and just clunks it down in front of you.
Oh.
Oh, wait. He pulls something out of the beer and just kind of drops it on the ground.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And then he'll drink the beer, and he'll just kind of keep watching what Pole is doing, and kind of letting the happy mood sort of just like take over him a little bit, trying to get find some happiness,
Okay, excellent. Yeah. So we'll cut over to Garen and Arlen as you're kind of speeding through the rain here. You do catch up to Hannah, and you are all currently at the docks. You can see that there are a number of people already beginning to move things onto the ships. They're working here in the rain. Hannah wheels around as she realizes that the two of you are chasing after her. She says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Garen, Arlen, is something the matter? What's wrong?"
Well, you left your bar unattended in a time when most people were out celebrating, so they were starting to worry about where you might be.
Oh, yes. You see a flush take her cheeks as she kind of looks at Garen for a split second and then back at you. She says, "I did not want to disappoint you. I knew that as soon as the rain... It just hit me. It just hit me. All of the sailors are going to be heading back to their ships now. Everyone's going to be eager to head out to sea. So if I want to secure those crewmates that I promised you for your ship, I'm going to have to take a little bit of initiative here. We do want to speak to them before they head back to their own ships."
Is she being truthful, or is there another reason she's out here?
Garen wants to
roll me insight.
on that.
Roll me insight. Ooh, nat 20 from Arlen, 26. Okay, a 19 from Garen. Yeah, you both absolutely believe her. She seems incredibly genuine right now. And
Right.
I'll say with that crit, Arlen, you can tell from the way her eyes keep flicking to Garen, she is either really intensely worried about what he thinks, or maybe she has a crush on him.
Ooh. Arlen smiles, but is gonna keep that information to herself.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for taking the initiative. I'll be sure to set some money to the side for you.
Oh, you don't need to do that. You have already done so much for me.
I probably should. I left Jeff in charge of your bar.
As you say that, all of the color flushes out of her face and she goes pale. She looks sick.
I'll go back. I'll take care of it.
Okay, thank you.
Garen actually looks at Arlen aghast too.
What?
I'll try to make it quick. In fact, I will tell you exactly what I was planning when I made my way here. I think we have to be a little unconventional with our recruitment.
All right. In what way?
I think we should throw a party.
I love it. How much gold do you need?
I actually need a favor from the two of you, if you don't mind. while I'm wrangling these sailors and trying to get them to the snapping line, perhaps you can help me by setting up the snapping line for a party. We're going to need food. We're going to need entertainment.
Of course.
And we're going to need at least 5 more kegs of beer. And her eyes kind of flick to Arlen. Make that 7 if Jeff has been behind the bar.
I'll get it done.
Thank you so much.
And I'm off.
Okay, yeah, she like runs in the other direction. Excellent. Okay, so you...
I love this session already.
I knew you would love it. Oh. I knew you specifically would love it. Okay, so you are given a task. Go ahead and roll me investigation, Garen and Arlen.
Okay. Ooh. Another roll I'm very good at.
8 from Arlen.
I would like to use my advantage.
Okay, absolutely. Please feel free.
Oh no, I rolled 18. I thought that 8 was me.
A 9.
Does a 9 succeed?
Kind of. Partial success. Let's see how Garen does.
I rolled an
18. Okay,
18.
great. Arlen, explain to me why you have no idea how to set up a party.
My parents were famous adventurers that just paid people to do everything for them, and so she never had to plan parties or do anything. She just, like, it always just happened. And even now, like, she's probably just considering going back and paying Jeff to go get things.
Excellent. Garen, with the 18 investigation, you are able to surmise that probably everything that you need will be available in the market right outside of the snapping line.
We need the market. Garen will head straight there.
Okay.
Okay. And I'll follow.
All right. Very quickly, we montage the two of you going shopping. You do find that there are kegs of beer for sale. There are kegs of mead. You find that there are all kinds of different smoked meats. No fish anywhere. What would you like to buy and bring to the party?
Okay, we're getting the best kegs of beer we can.
Okay.
Obviously, you can't skimp on that.
Okay.
And Garen would insist on adding 2 kegs of mead at least. Or at
Okay.
least 2 kegs of mead.
Okay, smart. Good thinking. We're gonna get Arlen knows nothing about meat except she doesn't like it, so she's gonna have to trust Garen. But they're gonna get like a bunch of meats and maybe some roasted veggies and stuff.
Okay.
They need streamers. They need party streamers and decorations. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say that altogether this is gonna cost you 20 gold.
I'll throw in 25 to make it extra special.
Ooh, you get the deluxe extra long streamers.
Yes, this is the ones I wanted.
These ones have dolphins on them.
Everybody loves dolphins.
It's true. If you don't love dolphins, you're a monster. Okay. So with all of these items in tow and also with the assistance of some dock hands to roll them your way, you do make your way towards the snapping line. But before you get there, Pole and Finn, you are currently enjoying this song by Pole. Pole, as you're playing this song, you can see that you've gathered the attention of pretty much everyone here. And you see a particular individual. He is quite round. He is very heavy set. You see that he has on this sort of silken shirt that has red and orange stripes on it. It looks quite extravagant, quite garish in appearance. And he has a full fluffy white beard and a very stylized mustache. He doesn't have any hair on his head. You see that he has a rapier on his side, and At the end of your song, he comes up and he says, I quite enjoyed your tune. This is for you. He holds out a small crystalline figure. You see that it is shaped like a cat.
Oh, thank you, sir. That's wonderful. It's a cat. It's so beautiful. I love cats.
Yes.
Never had a cat. I've got a cat.
This is the fabled clear cat of Chendel.
Clear cat of Chendel.
Hmm.
I've never heard of it. Is it famous? Is there a story?
There is a story. Would you like to hear it?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you join me for a drink then?
All right.
All right.
Bartender, 2 big beers.
You see Jeff lift up his head. He says, I'm all out of mugs and bowls. I'm going to have to get creative now.
I'll just use the same mug I had before. Fill her up.
All right. And he takes the mug. He says, I'll bring the drinks to you. Go have a seat. And you see this individual go and sit down by the fireplace. He takes the very large, cushiony chair and eases down with great comfort. Now, tell me your name. Where are you from?
Oh, my name's Paul. I'm from Ammonford.
Ammonford. Yes.
Have you been there?
I have been very many places. I am what you would call a wandering spirit.
Oh. Not really a spirit, though. Like, you're a man, right?
I am a man, yes.
Okay. I've run into spirits, so I just want to make sure.
Oh, you seem to have a worldly presence about yourself as well. Perhaps we should exchange stories. And he will begin to tell you a very embellished tale about a jeweler, a love story, and a tragic ending. So this clear cat of Chendel seems to have been lovingly made for someone out of pure love. And it is a very Romeo-Juliet kind of story. It has a very tragic and sad ending. And when he passes it over to you, you have drawn the gem card. You can tell that it is extremely, extremely expensive. Probably worth about 500 gold.
Oh, I think you made a mistake. This thing, this got to be. This is worth a lot of money.
Well, it is said that this particular item, if you find someone that gives you great happiness, you must pass it off to them. Otherwise, you will suffer the same tragic fate. So I do apologize. While I am giving you a great gift, it is completely out of my own selfishness and self-preservation.
Oh, so it's cursed. Well, I'll just have to make sure it doesn't get broken. Is it made of glass?
I'm not quite sure. Perhaps a type of glass, but I have been on the road for a long time and it has proven durable thus far. Not even a scratch.
All right, well, I mean, I just have to keep it until someone makes me really happy. That shouldn't take long. I'll pass it along. Thank you very much for enjoying my song. It's the first time I ever performed in public.
No.
Intentionally.
Yeah, it was very good. I think that perhaps you will bring great joy into the world if you choose to continue to share your craft. And it's about here that Jeff waddles up. He puts your mug down in front of you. He looks at this individual and then he moves your mug in front of him and then puts down a boot in front of you, Paul. And then he just kind of walks away without saying anything.
Oh, boot beer. All right. Cheers. Drink it.
Cheers! And then he like hits the boot, and some of it sloshes out. It is a very poor container. Then he bottoms up. And it's going to be about then that the door opens, and in comes Arlen, Garen, and a throng of people carrying things.
All right, everyone, we're having a party.
Woo!
Yeah.
Paul's pretty wasted, I think, after
Yeah.
his 2 pints.
Jeff is like, yeah. You see that he has like directly put his mouth under the tap.
Jeff, stop that.
Jeff, I need you to help Finn with hanging the streamers.
Decoration. He kind of hunches over. He's like, I'm so old. Oh, I need to sit. Oh, thank the gods that you're here. I would have not been able to.
Then you can hand them
need-
up to Finn while he's hanging them.
Oh, I can do that. He says,
Of
I
course.
saw the step ladder while I was looking for boots. I'll be right back. And he waddles into the back room.
Why was he looking for? Never mind.
Do you really want to know?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay.
And Garen will help the sailors put the kegs in the back.
Okay. Very good. All right. Yes. Finn, can I get a sleight of hand check at advantage here? Let's see how well you're decorating. Roll me a decorating check. 11.
Do I have
Okay.
a blessing? Can I
Mhm.
move it, or we'll
You have
no,
nat 20s as well.
You have 4 nat 20s.
you know what? Yeah, screw it.
Yes.
Let's
Yay.
use a nat 20 for decorating.
Okay. All right. Tell me what this looks like. You could take total creative liberty here.
Good lord. Okay, so Finn's gonna look at everything that's in front of him. He's gonna look at all of the cool stuff, and he's gonna sort of match stuff together. He's gonna like throw like different things. He's gonna like put some stuff by the fireplace that isn't flammable, and he's gonna like put like
I love that you specifically distinguished non-flammable things by the
well, I
fire.
need to. It's a 20. But he's gonna put streamers up. He's gonna notice these like really long streamers that have dolphins anywhere. Is there a place like I know that there's a lot of this place is more of an aquatic bar as far as like the is there like a place that there's also dolphins in this, or would this be something kind of like or that wouldn't be around?
You've definitely seen decorations in the bathroom. There's like this like wooden dolphin sculpture like right across from the toilet. You can like stare at it while you're making a poo.
Oh, okay.
It's the only dolphin decoration.
Well, crap. Okay. I guess I can't really use that one for there. Okay. So then he'll find like I don't know. He'll find like a really cool spot, maybe right at the entrance. Right as you come in, you'll see these streamers of like dolphins everywhere and stuff. And he'll just make it look absolutely as fantastic as possible with all of the items that has been brought in. You'll look and you'll go, "Oh my god, I never thought that would go with this, but actually it really works." And he'll kind of look around and he'll then ask to everyone, "How does it look, everyone?"
So it does look quite well. So you do have to remember that there's no such thing as like plastic and stuff. So all of the decorations that are put up, they are going to be different kinds of small metallic trinkets, or they're going to be like basically cutouts of cloth. And so it is a very rustic look here as you're putting these different decorations all throughout the room. And it does look a bit more inviting, but it also looks like there's a bunch of trash everywhere, and it's done in a pleasing way.
Mm-hmm.
But this place didn't exactly have the most blank canvas to start with, right?
Yeah.
So you do make it look great. It looks like this is definitely the place for a party.
Heck yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, I think I did the best I could with this place. This is the first time I've ever decorated a place, though, so...
It looks great. Where are the tankards?
You see Jeff kind of, as his eyes scan over the snapping line, you just see dirty tankards everywhere. No one has done the dishes.
All right. Can someone start on the dishes? I'll pay you 5 silver.
I can do that. You see a halfling woman just start gathering them up in her arms.
I give her a gold.
You see her like run into the kitchen, throw them down, run out, start collecting more tankards.
I'm
Hey!
I'm gonna go outside and try to find and buy more tankards and stuff.
Okay. Paul, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Paul's like, hey everybody, I'm gonna give a gold piece to whoever does the best dolphin dance, and he's gonna play a dolphin song on his lute.
Okay.
What does a dolphin song sound like?
I think it sounds like the same kind of songs he's been playing, like really fast reels and jigs.
I love it.
And he just wants people to look like a dolphin when they're dancing, and he's gonna award whoever's the best with a gold piece.
Oh my god. Okay. So as you say that, people have been slowly filtering in. You can see that they are sopping wet. We'll say that in particular, there's this half elf. He is blonde and has black eyes, and he says, "All right, I'll take your offer." And he begins to kind of like limber up and stretch in the middle of the tavern, and he starts his dance. He does a pretty good dance out of 15 performance here. He begins to do a number of different handstands. He begins to do like the worm on the ground, and he's like, ah, 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 you know, just making weird dolphin noises while he's doing it.
I think you're a druid or something, aren't you? That's amazing. If he's the best, I'll give him the gold.
Let's see.
My attention span is probably short, so I'm not going to wait for someone better if no one else is doing as well.
There is another half elf that comes up. He has olive skin and brown hair. He says, "I can do better than that."
No way.
Oh, and he rolls an 18. And he basically does the same thing, but at twice the speed. He is super fast, and it is really, really silly to look at.
This is so cool. I'll give them both a gold.
Oh my gosh. Their eyes get all shiny, and they happily take your gold pieces. And they introduce themselves. The first one, with the blonde hair, says, "My name is Zarik."
Hey, Zarik.
Hello.
I'm Paul.
Nice to meet you. And the second one says, "My name is Digby."
Digby. That's a cool name.
Thank
Do
you.
you
I
dig
chose it
things?
myself.
Oh.
Well, you could say I dig myself into trouble sometimes.
Oh, me too. Oh, that's pretty good. Are you sailors?
We
You ever
are.
sail? Oh, we're looking for sailors. Hey!
We were told there's a party here.
Yeah. This is the party. There's beer over there.
Beer. I'll race you. They race each other to the bar. And they climb on top. And they start to arm wrestle while they're standing on it. It's very silly.
Hey, Finn. Zarik and Digby want to join our boat.
I would sleep on that. But I'll pass the word on to Arlen.
All right.
I'll pass the word on to Arlen.
Yeah, Arlen is gone at the moment.
Yeah. So I'll make sure to put under consideration when we'll convene with them tomorrow when they're probably feeling less spirited.
All right. This is the Crayfish Song.
Trying to imagine what a crayfish dance looks like. Anyway, Garen, what are you doing amidst all of the shenanigans?
Well, I think Garen would at one point go over to Arlen and apologize for stepping on their toes about Jeff.
Oh, I'm not
Arlen.
there.
Oh, that's right.
I'm out getting tankards.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right. You left. All right. Because he realized Arlen's been the one in charge, and he just kind of ordered Jeff around. But
Okay.
anyways, I guess since Arlen's not here for that, he would first off make certain Jeff is not behind the bar again.
Oh, he is. Absolutely.
Eh. Oh yeah, and real quick question: is KayBee preparing the meat?
I think KayBee would be helping in the kitchen, yeah.
Yeah, because he loves cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So Garen needs to find another task for Jeff.
Uh-huh. So as you're kind of like standing next to Jeff, he's like, here, hold this. He gives you a boot. It's full of beer. And he begins to like reach underneath one of the counters and he says, I think I saw some very tiny cups in here somewhere.
What? No, Jeff, hold on. Okay, no. We need to get cleaning. Help her clean the mugs.
Oh, all of a sudden I'm feeling very tired. It must be my old age catching up to me. How about this? I will go sit down, and you go help the young lady in the kitchen.
No, because I was going to take care of the bar while you were helping her.
Oh, you can take care of the bar, and I can sit on the other side of the bar.
All right, fine.
He puts like, he gives you like 3 little tiny shot glasses that are made of wood. He puts them in your hands, then he sits back down in his seat. I would like 1 beer, please.
Garen hands him the boot.
He doesn't complain. He takes it. He drinks it. Arlen, you return about like 20 minutes later with some very shoddy.
Perfect. They are essentially the red solo cups of Saltmarsh.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I was going for. How much did it cost me?
Well, I kind of imagine Arlen would grab a lot. So we'll say for 1 gold, you got like, I don't know, 50 of these.
Perfect. All right, everyone, we should be covered.
You see that more people have filtered in, especially since you had left and come back. You see that there are a smattering of other people that you don't recognize that have slipped in. You see that Pole is currently playing merrily away a tune, something about a crayfish song. You see that among the people here, there are 2 orcs, 4 humans, a goblin, 2 dwarves, and 2 half-elves.
Got it. How many people do we need for the crew?
So, we have a small flashback here, and we completely undo anything Stella has previously told you, because she looked it up, and she was wrong. So in order to crew the Sea Lily, which is considered as a sailing ship, you do need a crew of about 30 people. You need
Jesus
1
Christ.
captain and 4 officers. We're going to say that for the like hiring stuff, basically that you just need to get those 5 people. And the 25 sailors can just be pretty much anybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, so you are looking to hire officers and a captain.
Okay. Well, obviously we already have the captain.
Obviously.
What was oh gosh, what was my knight's name?
Imloth.
Imloth. Is she around?
Imloth is currently not here.
Okay. She'll be here though. She's coming later.
Of course.
All right. Arlen, once it seems to have calmed down a little bit on as far as like people coming in, she'll make an announcement. But if anything happens before then, I want to leave room for that.
Okay. So Pole, you are playing your Crayfish Song. Is there anything in particular you wanted to do with that?
Well, I think he's still going to be watching for people who look like they're doing a crayfish dance, and he might secretly award them some money. But he's not going to do a contest anymore. He's just concentrating on his playing now.
Okay. Yeah, so you see both Zarik and Digby have kind of settled down now. Even with the merry music on, they're sitting over by the fire and they're currently having a small chat. You see that there is a goblin. He is dark-skinned and has green eyes, and he is currently doing a very unusual dance on a table towards the center of the room. It is not a crayfish dance, but it is a dance.
Nice. What do you call that dance? I'll yell at the goblin.
He says, "I call this my morning routine," and he's like basically just like doing like a number of different poses, and he's flexing.
Ah.
You can see that he is dressed quite lightly. He doesn't have any armor on him, but he does have what appears to be 2 smaller hand axes kind of tucked into either side of his belt. He's wearing a loose tunic, and he's wearing some strapping leather pants.
Nice. All right, well, you're really flexing there. It looks good.
I'm more powerful than I look.
I must be pretty powerful then. You look really powerful, standing up there on that table with all your muscles.
As you say that, he takes on this wolfish grin. He reaches over, grabs a chair, and he begins to just like one-handed lift this chair which is much larger than he is, because he's only about like 2.5 feet tall. And he starts just pumping this chair above him.
So Paul is gonna change from his real to more dramatic music. That's kind of I don't know, circusy, I guess. It sounds like someone's doing some daredevil thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna do that to kind of do a soundtrack to this guy's little routine.
I love it. Absolutely. And as you do that, you can see that people are beginning to turn their attention towards you and him, and they're kind of clapping him along, and he picks up another chair and he does it with the other side, and he's just kind of pumping these 2 chairs up in the air. It's very silly. Arlen, what would you like to do?
I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you have a sound for carnival music?
Well, I heard one before, and I just tried to make it sound like that, and it worked. So good. The loop, I don't know. It's really good loot. It almost plays itself.
I was mainly asking Stella. Did you have an audio file?
Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. Uh-huh.
Thought I heard that too. I was like, wait.
Oh, you mean in the background? No, that wasn't me. That was
yeah.
somebody else.
That wasn't me.
Oh, it was my partner.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
All I heard.
I didn't know you could hear that. It's funny.
You're like, wow, Stella, you're such a performer. No,
Yeah,
over here I'm like,
surprised. Okay, so Arlen is going to stand on the bark top.
mm-hmm. All eyes turn to you.
How many of you here are fishers?
About half of the people here raise their hands. And then someone, the goblin says, "Are you talking professionally or recreationally?"
Either.
Everyone raises their hands.
That's about what I expected. How much, for those of you who do it professionally, how much do you earn fishing in Saltmarsh?
You hear people beginning to talk among themselves, and it's a variety of different fees. Some people only get paid like maybe 5 copper a day. Some people boast, though, I got tipped 10 copper. Meh.
All right. And how many of you would like something more? Something perhaps meaningful, even. The Sea Lily, a new ship here in Saltmarsh, is currently recruiting sailors. And I will pay each and every one of you a silver a day, as well as a percentage of whatever treasure we find while we're adventuring out on the coastlines.
Everyone kind of falls under a hush. You see one of the orcs. They are bald and have this blue-green skin. You can see that they are dressed quite nicely. They have this kind of silken shirt with the sleeves cut off, and it is this pinkish purple color. And they ruminate for a moment. They seem very thoughtful, and they speak up and say, "Do you plan on us having to do anything illicit or illegal?
Nope.
This
will
is all above board."
This is all above board, and it is council sanctioned.
People begin to mutter amongst themselves.
And after some quick questions to see if you would be the right fit for our crew, anyone who signs up with us tonight will receive a 5 gold signing bonus.
As soon as you say council sanctioned, you see Zarik beginning to like, oh well, okay, I'm out of here. Beginning to like leave for the door, and they freeze as soon as you say signing bonus, and they turn around. "I'm in. Sign me up. I'll be the first."
All right, we have one. And the others?
And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 people raise their hands.
All right. Well, is Hannah back?
Yeah, we'll say that Hannah kind of stumbles in by now, and she's like, "I think I found everybody." She's sopping wet.
Perfect. Please speak to my associate, Hannah Rist, and she will give you a brief interview, and once I get the okay from her, I will give you your bonus.
They look thoughtful. Hannah kind of looks a little pale and says, "Do you want to meet any of them?"
No, I trust you.
Okay.
And then I pop open a bottle of claw wine and start downing it.
Hey! Awesome. Okay. Garen, what are you doing now?
Honestly, Garen's probably trying his best to man the bar still if Hannah's doing interviews.
Okay, roll me a survival check.
Good, I'm glad you chose that one.
27. Okay, you're actually surprisingly doing well behind the bar. It is a lot of timing. It's a lot of just like listening for what they're saying and then remembering where the supplies are. So you're kind of like moving through the kitchen, through the bar area, and you're kind of sliding them towards them. It's a type of thing that requires an eye for detail, and you definitely master this. Quick hands as well.
Oh, that's Garen. It was probably just about learning where the supplies were that tripped him up, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Finn, what are you doing?
I think Finn, after designing everything, kind of sat back down and was just kind of enjoying looking around, seeing how people are reacting to the design, saying good, bad things, kind of taking notes about it in his head, and taking his giant ass bowl of beer and been kind of just slowly sipping at it, drinking it, and then kind of paying attention to the result of Arlen's big talk, and he was like, "Oh, okay, looks like we might actually get a pretty decent crew," and so he's just been surveying everything.
Okay, sounds good. Hannah begins to take the people who are interested in an interview off to the side, and it does empty out the room quite a bit. The party goes on. Is there anything that anyone wants to do in the rest of the party?
Arlen's partying, telling stories, keeping an eye out for Imloth.
Okay.
Yeah, Finn's just kind of vibing. We'll occasionally go over to Pole, hang out with Pole. Yeah, he's just kind of vibing and just enjoying everything, trying to, get in a better mood.
Okay.
I think Pole's gonna drink too much, and Penny's gonna have to kind of drag him up the stairs to put him to bed early.
Excellent. Okay, that's fantastic.
That is a visual.
Could I get Constitution saving throws from everyone who's drinking? Is Garen drinking?
You know what? Yeah, I'd say he'd grab himself a drink or two while he's.
Constant saving throw?
Yeah.
Yeah, Constitution saving throw.
I'm gonna use.
Can I use my advantage?
Yeah. Go ahead and re-roll for me.
Okay.
I think
That's
I'll.
so funny.
I think I'll use
Yes!
that mine
Alright,
for
I'll take it.
Garen's as well.
Okay.
Hopefully, okay.
I think it's funnier if Pole fails, so I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think in the situation, yeah.
The story tells itself. I love it. Okay. So that's going to be an 18 con save from Garen, 16 from Finn, 18 from Arlen, and then a 5 from Pole. Okay, so you do all manage to more or less just kind of keep your drink about you, and you're feeling great. You're not sloshed. Pole, on the other hand, is absolutely sloshed, but having a great time. Arlen, it is definitely towards the deep night that Imloth finally comes in. You can see that she is sopping wet, and she kind of shakes off her cloak and hangs it by the door. And you can see she's wearing something completely different now. She is no longer wearing the garb of the city watch, but instead common clothes.
Once she enters, I'm like, "Hey,
Hello.
Imloth, just who I wanted to see." And I jump down from the stool that I was probably standing on.
Mm-hmm.
And move through the crowd towards her.
Okay.
I need the first mate.
Hello, Arlen. Yes, you can see that she's kind of straight-backed and wary as she's looking around. Definitely not on the same vibe as you are. Yeah, first mate, yes, that sounds quite good. Sorry.
Are you alright?
Yes, I'm fine. I just have a few things on my mind. But a party does sound like a nice distraction. Do you still have drinks?
We have plenty.
Hmm.
Let me go get you something.
All right.
And I
She'll-
lead her to the bar.
Okay. She'll sit down next to you and she'll say, "I'll take anything."
So Garen's probably even found himself an apron by now that he's wearing while he's
I love it.
working.
It's definitely got like fish bones on it. Right?
That's fine.
Yeah, it's
Heart-shaped
like plain.
Fish bones and hearts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure Hannah is loving this.
Oh my god. Hannah's like sitting by the fire with her feet up and she looks exhausted. She's actually fallen asleep. She has like an empty like tankard in her hand. She's sleeping in the chair.
So, what's on your mind?
Oh, I just heard a strange rumor. I don't really know what to make of it, but something about if you see someone at the docks at night wearing a red cloak, if you slip them a copper piece, they might connect you with smugglers from beyond this world who can sell you anything that you've dreamed of. I'm sure it sounds very silly, and I don't know what to make of it. I don't know why I'm obsessing over it.
That sounds strange, but what would you ask for if you found them?
Something that I've dreamed of. Well. A nice, small, humble home by the seaside. A little garden. Maybe a dog.
So retirement,
That's the dream, isn't it?
I suppose.
Retirement
Yeah.
away from people.
But if you were away from people, who would hear your stories of grand adventures and other things.
You can see, like, she's, like, reclining, just kind of beginning to get comfortable, and she says, I am quite a good conversationalist. Give me a dog and I can tell them stories for the entire life.
But being away from people, really?
I suppose I could take the village road and head to the village, my hypothetical home on the sea cliffside. And go get myself a pie. And then back home.
All right. I didn't have you pegged for the type.
What about you?
If I came across this person, probably some gland, like weapon. Something powerful. Something that will allow me to go on grander adventures. I'm not necessarily looking to retire anytime soon.
Well, I suppose I'm a little jaded now that I've spent quite a bit of time with the city guard. I spend most of my days wrangling people that should know better than they do, and are off just making everyone else miserable throughout the day.
Well, hopefully a change of profession will make life a little bit more worth living.
I am excited to go out into sea with you, Arlen. This is a change that I am most looking forward to.
I'm glad. Here's your signing bonus. I'm gonna drop 50 gold in front of her.
Arlen, this is too much.
Not for you.
She blushes. She says, not making eye contact, as she's dragging the gold towards her. If I'm first mate, then who's the captain?
I am, obviously.
Yep, I just wanted to make sure. Can I get another drink?
Of course. Garen, can we get another one?
Garen would hopefully have a clean mug.
Yeah.
We got a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You came back with all the solo cups.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the halfling that's in the back, she has been quite dexterous and quite responsive in taking on this task. And she has definitely kept up with the party, even now as it's beginning to wind down. And she's actually even come out of the kitchen and she's started to, like, wipe down tables and the floor and stuff like that.
Arlen, we might want to recommend Hannah hires her.
I think that's a great idea. She's done an incredible job.
Definitely.
She waddles up to the group of you and she's holding a mop that is much taller than she is. And she says, all right, you probably don't have much more left to do. It looks like people are beginning to either pass out or head home. I think I've done my share of earning that 5 silver.
Oh, I gave her a gold at the beginning of the night. But
Right. Thank you for the gold piece. I think I've done my fair share of earning that gold piece.
you've done incredible work. In fact, here's
Great.
5 more. And I'm going to give her 5 more
What?
gold. Yeah.
She says, oh no, I cannot accept this. No. No, no, no.
You can and you will, because hard work deserves good pay.
I'm sorry. I cannot in good conscience take it. Our contract was that I do this for 1 gold, and I have completed it.
Well, do you know how to sail?
I do. In fact, I came here because there's something about an interview.
Yes, well, consider this your signing bonus if you would like to join.
Oh. Well, okay then, I suppose. She sticks out her hand. My name is Malaya.
Malaya, Arlen, I'll be your captain. And this is Imloth, the first mate.
Hello. Good to meet you. Hello. She takes the 5 gold. She bows deeply to the group of you. Thank you so much. I'll be here
Look
bright and
forward to
early.
working with you.
Hi. As she heads off, and we see that the tavern begins to slowly wind down. Is there anything anyone wants to do before y'all pass out?
How many people signed up or like were okayed by Hannah?
Okay, so there are 11 people that she interviewed, and she is going to basically put on in different roles. You will have to choose 4 of them to be 3 of them to be officers. Kusha Kid, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in, raiders. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, so you have to find, as a group, you have a captain, a first mate, a bosun or a boatswain, a quartermaster, and a cook.
Okay. And those are like the officer positions?
We have a cook already. Really good cook.
Well, KayBee will be out with us a lot of the time, I imagine. So he can't be there and cook the entire time. I figured the only position that would be occupied by one of us was captain, which is me. And then whenever I'm not there, Imloth will take over to make sure things are kept at bay. But also, just to clarify, Stella.
Yes.
So Hannah passed all 11, right?
Yeah, she said that they were all good.
Okay. Then they each get 5 gold.
Okay, sounds good. So I think we will have them kind of agree to show up in the morning, and then you can make final decision on who goes into what position.
Okay.
But for the closing of the night, is there anything anyone wants to do as you're heading to bed?
No, I think Garen's fine. He's probably done exhausted himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that constitution save was to see if y'all are gonna get a hangover in the morning. Pole is gonna be so hungover. Everyone else is gonna be okay, just dehydrated.
Paul
Yeah.
probably doesn't make it to his bed, and he's still in his clothes when he wakes up in the middle of the night. Has to go to the washroom.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Okay.
I think the best, the person who gets to be the cook should be whoever makes the best hangover breakfast for everybody.
Excellent. Okay. So yes, Pole, in the middle of the night, you kind of get up and to go use the washroom, and you do find it and you use it, but on your way back, you get a little lost. You're feeling kind of sick to your stomach, and you're kind of losing your sense of direction. You have drawn the Void card. You get dangerously separated from the rest of the party. So when they wake up in the morning, you are not there. But
Get lost in the bathroom.
got lost in the bathroom. All right, I think this would be a good time for us to take a quick break. We're going to do some stretches, grab some snacks, grab some drinks, and we'll be back here in about 5 minutes. We're back. All right, when y'all wake up, you do not see Pole anywhere in the upstairs. You see that his bedroom door is wide open. He never... Well, no, he did go to bed. He must have got up at some point. And Penny Sprinkles is not here either.
Garen!
Garen would probably poke his head out, leather armor still in hand as he was cleaning it. What?
I have my bags and everything with me. You're a fucking liar. I want my bed back. You said your bed was too soft, but it's as hard as a slab of stone.
Yeah, and that one was like sleeping in full of down. Ah! Yes, definitely we're swapping back. But let me finish cleaning first.
Did you do something in there?
Oh, I clean my armor every morning.
Hannah, are you back there?
What?
Hannah pokes her head from like the bottom of the stairs. What?
Nothing. That's fine.
No.
All right.
I clean my armor every morning.
All right.
Is that what they call it these days? Okay.
Polishing the old helmet, huh?
Oh boy. Wow.
Fantastic.
Oh yeah. So.
Fine. I want my loom back for the next time we stay here, though.
I agree.
Where's
that was-
Pole?
What?
Where's Pole? We need to
I
get
don't
going to
know.
the dock.
Fine. I'll finish cleaning when we get on the boat. He puts his armor on and starts looking around for Pole.
Hannah, have you seen Pole?
I think I saw him leaving very, very early in the morning.
All right, maybe he went to the ship already.
I think it was in that direction.
All right, everyone, grab your things. We need to go.
All right.
Hannah, thank you for your help. It
Of-
is very much appreciated.
Of course. I should probably be the one to break the news to you. So there's no easy way to say this. Jeff got arrested last night.
What? He's a
He's-
guard. How did he
he's
get
the-
arrested?
Yeah, he's the head of this whole thing, isn't
Oh my
he?
god, I'm so glad it worked out like this. So he got very drunk, and there was. Do you remember the
Yeah.
goblin from last night? His name is Tully. Tully and Jeff got into a fist fight, and they were both arrested. So you're gonna find that Tully isn't going to be at the docks, and Jeff is now in prison.
What's their bail?
For.
You know, you probably don't know this. That's fine.
Oh no,
Thank
I
you
do. It's 6 gold pieces a pop.
Oh, that's fine. We'll. Finn, do you want to negotiate someone out of jail?
Oh Lord.
Eh.
I could try, I suppose.
It's a great lesson. Here's 12 gold.
Yeah.
You know what the bail is. But
Mm-hmm.
you want to negotiate it for lower if you can.
Okay.
And that is all the advice I will give you. But you have enough in case you can't negotiate well. But I believe in you.
Appreciate the confidence.
Yep.
And then
I
he'll
give you
go
12
off
gold.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
You go.
All right. So Garen and Arlen are heading to the docks, and Finn's going to the prison.
Finn's going to prison.
Okay. So the camera fades to black, and we see darkness. And we hear water. We hear the creaking of wood. We hear the ding ding of the sound of a deck. Ropes and rigs being pulled and masts being raised. Paul, you open your eyes and you... Can you see in the dark?
Nope.
Okay, you are in a dark room. It smells like mildew and rotting wood and sea salt. And the floor is moving underneath you. You're not on solid ground.
Well, probably throw up then.
Okay, you throw up. Yeah, you feel a lot better now.
Oh. Where is this?
As you're kind of like gaining consciousness, Penny Sprinkles is pulling on your ear. It's about time you woke up. Pull. Did you know that?
Shh.
Pull, wake up! Pull,
Oh
wake
my
up!
god. Oh my god, just don't yell.
Pull! They are literally casting off right now. We are literally leaving Saltmarsh right now. You need to wake up.
Right now, in the middle of the night.
Paul, it is not the middle of the night. It is the morning time.
How come it's dark?
You feel the tiniest, most harmless, like, thunk on your forehead.
Ow!
Paul.
What the hell? Why?
Paul, do not push me to the limit. I will exercise violence on you if I have to.
We talked about this.
Paul, please. We need to get up.
All right. I'll try and grab a wall or something if there's one nearby. If there isn't, I'll crawl to the wall and then I'll...
Roll me a dex save.
All right. Dex save.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you somehow managed to find your sea legs, no problem. The walls here are kind of like mucky and slimy, but you managed to keep yourself upright. And you can see that there is a little shred of light coming in from what looks like a hatch on the other side of whatever this room is.
All right. All right. I'm going to that hatch.
Okay.
Are you coming?
She just kind of like hangs off of your ear.
Oh, all right. And I'll try and get up there.
Okay.
To the hatch.
Roll me an
opening.
athletics check.
So early.
I believe in you.
I
You
don't.
rolled a 2.
I'm going back to sleep.
No, I think you should re-roll.
I'm so
You should try
tired.
again, please. We have to get out of here.
Oh,
Do you want to use your blessing?
Sure. I'll
Okay.
use the blessing. Does that give me a 20 then? Or is
No, so roll
it's
again.
just a reroll?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. Athletics.
Oh wow, nat
It does
20.
actually.
It does actually. Okay, so tell me what this looks like. Should be like Penny Sprinkles is begging you. We have to get off the boat.
I think Pole was just about going to go back to sleep,
Mhm.
and Penny took out her little sword and jabbed it into his ass, and he jumped through. He jumped all the way through and through the hatch up to whatever's above.
Yeah, it just flings open and you kind of stumble out and you're on the deck. You are on a boat. It is a sailing ship, almost exactly like the one that you now possess. As you kind of spring up, you see that there are people kind of looking at you, uncertain why you're here, who you are. A few of them just kind of hesitantly go about their business. You can see Saltmarsh over there, the coastline. You are definitely like out on water now. You are about 100 feet away.
Excuse me? What boat is this?
This is the Dread Snapper.
This is the wrong boat.
Are you a stowaway?
No?
You see this hulking man coming up to you. You see that the hair on the sides of his head are shorn, and what hair he does have is pulled back into a very tiny little pigtail. He looks at you. I think you're a stowaway.
Well, I'm not, so I just... Well,
He
I got very
pulls
drunk
out a
and I
dagger.
wandered in... All right, you don't have to pull out weapons. I just want to go over there. I'll point to Saltmarsh.
Well, it's too bad. We are leaving Saltmarsh and we're not coming back. You, my friend, are in quite a predicament.
Yeah. Well, do you have a rowboat I could buy off you?
Why would we give you a boat when we can just kill you and take everything you have? He slowly lifts the dagger and points it at you.
No, you can't. And I'll jump overboard.
Okay. As you're kind of like jumping overboard, Penny's just kind of like flopping in the air, holding desperately to your ear, like, oh, fuck. You hit the water with a splash. Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll me an athletics check to swim back to Saltmarsh.
I'm so bad at this.
You do have one nat 20 left.
All right, I'll use this. I'll use the nat 20 on this.
Okay, I think that's smart. All right. So describe to me how awful this is. You're like basically half drunk, but you do manage to make it back to Saltmarsh.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no fish, because they'd probably eat me. I'm on my way swimming in my clothes, and I'm sure I lose my wooden shoes if I haven't lost them already. They float off.
Absolutely, they're gone.
And yes, I managed to find some piece of flotsam to hang on to.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'd never make it. There's
Yeah.
some log is floating in the water there, and I just kind of kick, barely managing to push myself along, and Penny's flying and dragging the log so that I can get there, because I'd never make it on my own.
Yeah, I think as you kind of start to get close to the shore, Penny's like, I'll be back, Paul. I'm gonna go get help.
Okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep.
Hold on. Don't let go. And then she'll just kind of flutter away. Arlen and Garen, you begin to approach the docks here. And all of a sudden you see something just kind of thwomp right up to you. Let's see. Who does she crash into? She crashes into Arlen's face. You get a face full of penny sprinkles as she kind of latches onto you and says, Paul needs help.
Oh, all right. Get off my face. What is he?
It's this way. And she like pulls on your hair, and she's not very strong. She's very tiny. She's like pulling up your hair. It's not really doing anything. She's kind of fluttering in the direction of the ocean.
All right. You all go meet with the others at the ship. Well, I guess it's just Garen and KayBee.
Yeah,
You two go to the ship, meet with the others, tell them we'll be there soon. I'll go
Okay.
deal with this.
All right, I'll look for Paul while I'm there.
And I'm gonna,
Oh wait,
following the lead, I'm gonna jump in the water and start swimming towards Pole.
Okay, yeah, you find Pole floating on Flotsam.
Pole, what are you doing out here?
Drowning.
All right. I'm gonna grab onto Pole and swim him back.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. As the two of you come back to shore, you are sopping wet and you are freezing. However, you can see all around you that the docks seem to be in pretty good spirit. You can see that there are a number of ships that are already pulling in netfuls of fish. So it seems that fish must be back in the area. The bounties are not that heavy. They're not as plentiful as they had been when you first came to Saltmarsh, but there are at least a little bit of fish at the moment. All right, we're going to cut over to Finn. Finn, you head over towards the barracks. So you are heading back towards the main entrance of Saltmarsh. You see on your left is the Wicker Goat, and on your right is the barracks. As you enter the barracks, you see that there is a guard attending the front desk. They say, "Please state your business."
I'm here for Jeffrey and the person he was in a fight with last night.
Oh. Really? I didn't think Jeff actually had any friends. They took
Yeah.
his position from him. Unfit for guard duty now. so to speak.
Over a fist fight.
Aye, it was pretty bad.
I mean, I knew he liked to drink, but I was kind of surprised to hear that he was out of just. I mean, you gotta. Bother anyway.
Well,
yeah,
in the report, it did mention that there was a distinct scent of sulfur and brimstone. Perhaps someone cast a spell, but we could not find any traces of that or anyone who seemed to fit the description of someone able to use such power. So, it befell the two of them that it must have just been too much of the bottle.
I must have, yeah. So I'm here to help bail out Jeffrey and the other one whose name escapes me at the moment.
Tully.
Tully, yes, Tully.
Yeah, so it'd be 6 gold pieces each, please.
Well, I mean, here's the thing with that. I mean, Jeffrey, I mean, he was not that bad of a guy. You know, he was always really nice and very friendly. When we first came into town, me and a couple of other friends of mine, he was very welcoming, very nice. He helped us out a lot. And he points next door. We were actually staying over there for a while, and he made us feel very welcome and comfortable. And how long has he even worked as a guard? It's got to be years and years. You would think that would entail some sort of, maybe a little bit of a slap on the wrist over it. I mean,
go ahead and roll me persuasion.
You got this. I believe in you.
That's a
69. That must be worth something.
That was a perception. Roll me persuasion.
Fuck.
Nope.
Oh, thank God.
It's fine. You can do it again. There we go.
Yay!
21. Yay. Okay. Yeah, you see him kind of mulling it over and says, Jeff did come to my wedding, so yeah. I mean, I guess he's a good guy.
Yeah, there you go. He's a nice guy.
All right. I'll take care of his. But Tully, I don't know this fellow. I'm sorry. It's gonna be 6 gold for him.
To be fair, I don't know if this Tully guy either. Although I think he's being recruited with our ship. I don't know the particulars on that, but I honestly was more or less here to help Jeffrey get a little less. I think he's a good boy, so I'm okay with paying the 6 for the other one. So
all right,
that's fair.
I will need you to sign here to denote that you posted their bail.
There you go.
Okay, you sign it, Finn Carson.
I do sign it, Finn Carson.
Okay. And then he basically pulls out 2 pieces of paper and says, "All right, these are the writs of their arrest, in case you need them. Just formal paperwork entailing that they were arrested and that you have posted their bail. Here you are, and I will set them free." And he goes off with a ring of keys, comes back with both Tully and Jeffrey in tow. You can see that they are both black and blue, just completely botched up, motley of bruises all over them, and their hair just kind of disheveled and missing in certain clumps.
Jeffrey, what did you get yourself into, my friend?
You see that he barely has his eyes open. He just kind of walks past you and gives you a little pat and says, "I need a drink."
No, you do not. You need water and probably some place to sleep.
Can I sleep in your bed? I don't want my granddaughter to see me.
That's fair. DM, there's a common area in between all of our rooms, right?
Yes.
Would there be a spot I could put maybe my bedroll on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or something for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about my bed, but I do have a bedroll, as all good adventurers do.
Okay.
We have a common area in our spot, and
Mhm.
we'll let Hannah know that you're staying up there, and we're okay with it. And you can
Alright.
sleep in our common area, but you have to drink some water. No alcohol, no nothing,
Okay, Finn.
and actually rest.
Thank you, Finn.
You're very lucky I was able to get you out without the full bail.
You're so kind. You're a good friend.
I tried.
Okay, bye.
All right.
And Tully comes up towards you and just puts up 2 thumbs up. Yeah.
You better
I
do
like
good
this
on our.
Tully
You
guy.
better. You better do good on our ship.
Oh, you have my undying loyalty. Hafa, thank you so much for the card to Zombie. Zombie, tell me when to stop.
What?
Yeah. I want
Adam,
it to
how
be a
dare.
night card, and then Tully just
Oh my
follows him around everywhere.
All right. Stop. Is it the night card?
No.
Okay.
Dang
that's
it.
fine. I feel it was fair to ask in this situation. That's fine. And then yeah, he'll I think what he'll do though is he'll does he kind of does the recruit know kind of where the ship is?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
like, oh, I want to tell you all about my night. Oh my gosh. It was fantastic. There was a cat. There were these naked women running through the streets. And something about a crocodile. It's
Lovely.
coming to me in pieces, but it was so, oh, what a wild ride. I'm very much looking forward to hanging out with you. I mean, to working with you.
Yes, quite. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure the others will love to hear your story as well. Go ahead and go to the ship. I'm actually gonna follow Jeffrey to make sure he gets to the Wicker Goat. Okay.
All right, I will tell them
A
where
snapping
you.
lion. I'm sorry, snappy lion.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'll let them know that you'll be a little late.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Gives you finger guns, and then he runs off, track starring his way to the docks. Back at the docks, Garen, you find that the sea lily has been prepared and is moored at the docks there in Saltmarsh, and you find a lot of the familiar faces from last night there. You find, let's see, I rolled a 10d20. Let's see how many of them are shit-faced. Yeah, Tully was the nat one. Okay. So everyone actually looks pretty good. You see that most of these recruits are pretty bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, except for Digby. Digby looks really rough. He looks like that he is going to be sick. And we'll say that it's about then that, as you're kind of like talking to them, talking to Hannah, that Arlen and Pole are coming up, and they are both sopping wet.
Oh, good, Arlen, you found him. Paul, are you safe?
No.
All right.
Well, you're safe now.
Paul lies on the ground and puts his arms over his head.
Paul, get
Malaya,
up. We need to get going.
Oh,
Garen shouts for Malaya. Malaya, show Paul to his bunk, please.
Oh, all right. So you see this halfling. She has silvery hair and black eyes. She has this very glossy hair that's pulled into two bubble braids, and she gently pats Pole on the knee and says, "Just follow me. I've got you."
all right. Well, Paul will follow her.
Okay, she leads you onto the sea lily. So as kind of everyone comes together here. Oh, Finn's not here yet. So Tully will come running up, and then he joins the line of people, and he gives like a salute. He says, "Tully reporting for duty. Also, I'm here to announce that Finn Carson, or I don't know if you told Finn. I don't know his last name because he didn't tell me his last name. But Finn is depositing the old man into the room at the snapping line something.
Oh.
All right, that's fine. As long as he gets here quickly. We've got some decisions to make before we set off.
Yeah.
You look very beat up.
Oh, yes, I got fucked up last night.
All right, well, here you go. And I'm gonna put a hand on him and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay, what does this spell look like?
From my hand, it shines kind of with a white light on my palm, and then as I kind of clap him on the shoulder, the white mark stays on his shoulder and then spreads through his body. And I'm casting this at 2nd level because that's where my
Ooh.
warlock spells are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I get those back on a short rest. So he's going to get 2d8 plus 3.
Wow. Yeah,
So he gets 13.
Very good. He immediately looks much better. His eyes get all wild and dark and shiny as they turn into like saucers looking at you.
It's probably more HP than he's got.
All right. Well, we're waiting for Finn. Everyone, we're going to go in order. Tell me your name and your backstory.
Oh God. Okay. So, the
Just trying to find the most qualified people for each role.
Okay, so I have a long list of people here. The very first person. Oh. Thank you, Adam, for the nat 20 to both Tim and Emma. Please enjoy.
Thank you.
Yay.
So, before we jump into that, Finn, you are able to post up Jeff in the 3rd floor of the snapping line.
Mm-hmm.
You roll out your bedroll and he curls up on it. He's hugging a tankard of water. Thank you, Finn. You are a very good friend.
Well,
Sniffle, sniffle.
you've been. Sometimes I don't understand your wacky ways, Jeff, but you're always a really kind guy. So it's fine. It's good. And then he'll kind of leave him be. And then is Hannah around? Finn just wants to tell her that he's there and all that stuff.
I think I said that. I think Hannah's actually supposed to be there and not at the dock. I don't think Hannah's at the dock actually.
Okay.
So she is there, and you kind of explained the situation to her. I don't think she would have left her tavern unattended.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. If she's gone, then who's in charge?
Yeah, she's there. She's there, and she says, "I'll check on him and make sure that he stays hydrated and there's food in his belly."
He's got a tanker of water. He should be okay. But yeah, just check on him.
I will.
And I just didn't want you to, wonder, turn around, saw nobody walk in, and all of a sudden Jeff's walking around. So
Of course. Yes.
He can be silly. All right, I gotta go to the dock. I'm probably running late now. They probably need me, but I want to let you know.
Thank you, Finn. You are very kind to think of other people like this.
Oh, I try. And he goes off and goes to the dock.
Okay, you show up at the docks. Everyone's lined up. You are here for this. So as you're kind of going down the line, the very first person, she stands quite composed. You see that she is straight-backed, has broad shoulders. Her name is Simona, and she is an orc. She has dark hair, and it is pulled into a very lovely braid to one side. She is wearing just pretty common clothes. They're pretty sensible for this line of work. She does have a red scarf tied around her neck. She says, I've been working with boats all my life. I am a sailor through and through. My father was a sailor. And I hope to serve you well. The pay is good, and I have heard quite a bit about the group of you. I am excited, she says with great composure, to work with you.
I'm excited to work with you as well.
Next to her is a human. You see that they have storm gray eyes. They have this like wild pixie cut hair, and they have a mischievousness to their eyes. They appear to be human. They say, "My name is Fidelity." And you do remember that Fidelity drank quite a bit last night, but they look very, very alert. They look very, very... They rolled a nat 20. They're doing great. They're having a great day. They stand with a hand on their hip, and they're kind of like, "I want to ask you a question, actually.
All right.
As a captain, what is your first priority for the crew?"
My first priority is make sure that they get paid their fair due and that they are kept safe and in good health. And that me and my companions here manage all the dangerous stuff so that you don't have to.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you. I kind of sit back with the rest of the line.
Well, no, you need to tell me who you are.
Oh, of course. I am Fidelity. I will let you know that I spent 2 years in prison because I did have a bit of a bad streak. They were mostly just petty thefts. I used to get quite a rush with, you know, stealing a baked good here or there. I do have a sweet tooth, and I was quite notorious for it. But I have reformed from my previous ways, and I am looking for honest and good work, especially with people that are looking out for me. See, I grew up as an orphan. I didn't have very many people to call family, and it gets pretty dramatic and long-winded.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in short, I'm looking for a family. Perhaps I will find one on the Sea Lily.
Well, I hope so as well. And you certainly won't need to steal sweets anymore, as you're actually going to be paid a fair amount.
Precisely. Exactly. Kind of. Next is the orc from last night that seemed quite reserved, that had their arms crossed over the chest, wearing the silky cutoff. They identify themselves as Tama. They are bald and have blue-green skin. Tama says, "I used to be a soldier. I served the Rugnarsant army." Sorry, not Rugnarsant. Ugh. Kjoland. Kjolish. just casually adding in my homebrew bullshit. No. I served the king of Kjoland in the army for about 5 years.
What unit were you in?
He lists a unit, and it's a real unit.
Yeah. Would Garen?
Yeah.
Was Garen a part of that or no?
No, it would have been a different unit. They were. You would be able to tell from the name of the unit that they were a foot soldier.
Okay.
Yeah, and they say, I don't sleep well at night, so I had to retire.
Yeah. It's bloody business being a soldier.
I
was a scout in the Kjoland army.
They give you a nod. It's the soldier nod, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The soldier nod. Oh, yeah. It's a nod that, like, y'all basically kind of have your own language, right? It's like a nod that says, like, "I see you."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they don't say anything else. And then there's, like, a long, awkward silence. And then Tully stands forward. And Tully says, "You know who I am. It's me, your good buddy, Tully. I used to actually be a dancer. And then I threw out my hip. And it hasn't been quite the same, but I am innovative, I am creative, and I love animals."
Right, well, that's good to know.
I'm all about having a good time, you know, telling a good story, hearing a good story.
We're gonna get along.
And Tully is dark skin, green eyes, and we'll say, and he has the 2 hand axes. Yep.
Nice. What a badass.
Next to Tully is Malaya. You see the halfling from last night. She has silvery hair and black eyes. You can see that she has put on fresh set of clothes. She looks quite composed, and she's put on a little bit of blush as well, dressed up. And she says, "Hello, my name is Malaya. I used to actually work in a tavern before, so when you called for help, I knew exactly what to do. I about 8 years, I think, give or take. And I actually just love fishing. I'm not too crazy about the whole deckhand business with the ropes and the rigging, but I can do what I'm told to do. I can get it done. I'm a quick learner. And I just love fishing. There's just something about casting a line and watching the water.
Absolutely. How are you at cooking?
Oh, I am so good at cooking. I'm so glad you asked. My secret recipe for rosemary pot pie almost got me married a few times.
How would you like to be our cook?
I would love that. Does that mean I have to mop the deck?
No.
Okay, absolutely. She prances forward and lifts up her hand like straight up to shake your hand.
Shake her hand enthusiastically.
Yeah, she is very enthusiastic. She has a very strong grip. She shakes it. Yes. Oh, I'm excited.
I am too.
Next to them, there's so many of them, y'all. Next to them is a dwarf. They have coppery hair and they are tan-skinned. They say, "My name is Ragnhild."
That's a strong name.
Yes, well, I'm a very strong person. I could bench press a whole horse.
That's a lot.
Aye. You're gonna need me.
I will. Are you familiar with ships and being on ships?
Of course I am.
All right, great. I'll go to the next person.
Okay. Next to them is another dwarf. He has red hair and blue eyes. He has a bit of a dour expression, and as he steps forward, he says, "My name is Agni. I was a monk for most of my life. Only recently discovered that my order was built on lies, and I had a change of faith and profession. And now, honestly, I am looking for mercenary work. And I am here."
All right. Well, it's good to have you. Being a monk, I imagine you're quite organized.
Yes.
How would you feel about being our quartermaster?
I can do that.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will go to the next person.
Okay, yeah.
I like it. I like him.
Next to him is a person named Book. They are very tall, and you see that they are kind of wiry in frame. They are very pale with braided black hair, kind of brought to one side, and their head is shorn on the other. They have a very intense look about them. They have dark makeup on their face, and they're kind of looming over you. They're about like 6'5", and they say, "I have the keenest eyes in all of Saltmarsh. If you have me on your lookout, I will make sure that nothing surprises us out on the sea.
All right. Well, sounds like I'll be having you on the lookout.
The name is Book.
Good to meet you, Book. I'm Arlen.
Arlen.
I look forward to working with you.
And as they kind of cast their eyes onto the rest of the party, there is a sort of intensity in the way that they look at you. Lord Kusumba, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome on in,
Heck
everybody.
yeah.
We're doing interviews
in.
right now.
Yeah.
We have a boat, and we're interviewing people for our boat.
Look at all those boat emotes.
Oh, hey, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Next to Book is another person. They identify themselves as Silos. He's a dark-skinned human with black hair. You can see that he is wearing this deep blue blouse, and he seems well-dressed. He also has a lute strung over his shoulder. And he says, "My name is Silos. I think that perhaps we might have a great tale to tell together. I am a traveling musician and looking for something a little different. I am quite curious about what the ocean has to give me. And I'll be honest," he gestures over to Pole, "I was quite enamored by your song. I was hoping that perhaps we can learn from each other."
Oh, I'd love to learn how to actually play.
Oh. Are you not a master? From the tunes that you were pulling last night, I could have sworn that I would be learning from you.
Well, thank you for a compliment. Yeah, maybe you can.
Perhaps,
I wouldn't put it past you.
perhaps we will learn from each other then.
Well, we will do our best to make sure that you get some grand adventures and worthy stories on the sea and not something like scabies. All right, next person.
As he's kind of like stepping back, he also says to Arlen, who seems to like be taking the authority of the whole interview thing here. He says, "I'm also a healer. I'll be able
That
to
is also
assist if
very
that
helpful.
is required."
Thank you.
Next, you see Digby. Digby looks fucked up. He's so drunk right now. You see this half-elf. That's how you spell his name. Digby. You see this half-elf. He has olive skin and brown hair and is kind of like just all like pointed in one direction. You can tell that he's very young, and he almost looks green at this point because he is struggling to keep his guts in. And he just kind of gives you a smile and says, "I really enjoyed the party last night. That was wild. I dreamt about dolphins all night."
He was the best dolphin dancer out there, I'll tell you that.
Ah, that's where it's from. The dance, the song. Oh. And then all of a sudden, he starts doing the dolphin dance again. He's like doing the worm on the deck. And then he promptly just throws up everywhere.
All right, can you clean that?
Oh, yeah, of course. I just need a bucket.
Yeah, we'll get you a bucket and a mop for this wet ass deck. Okay, next
You
person.
see Pole run away from that as well. He's like,
Oh no. And the very last person is Zarik, who was also dancing last night. Zarik is a half-elf. He is blonde with black eyes. And you can see that he is doing much better than Digby. And he says, "I might not have won the dance-off, but I think I won the war. Won the battle. Lost the battle, won the war. Yeah."
Yeah, you seem to be doing a lot better. Can you tell me about yourself?
Yeah. You see, I actually used to be a cleric.
Oh, of who?
I used to be a cleric of... Hold on.
Yes, the great hold on.
Oh, yes.
I actually used to be a cleric of Heronius.
Who's that?
Heronius is the god of chivalry. Please, Heronius, lore, Heronius. He's
Someone in chat said Valor.
yeah,
Not a Valor.
yeah, he's the Archpaladin, the Valorous Knight. He's all about like, that chivalrous code, right? Of like duty to the people, duty to the god, duty to like helping those that need help below you. So him saying that he used to be a cleric of Heronius is kind of sketch here. He says, but I decided that free will was more important to me than the restraints of church and what gods say over mortal playthings. I'm just here to have a good time.
All right, that's fine. Sounds good. Simona. I kind of look towards Simona down at the far end of the line.
The very composed orc woman steps forward, red scarf, braid. Yes, Captain.
You said that you grew up around ships.
I did.
I imagine you know how to take care of them.
I do.
How do you feel about being our bosun?
I can do that.
Great. All right, well, I'm sure you all haven't been briefed yet as to what we're doing, but we're going to be riding down the coast so that my group and I can investigate some things going down with the lizard folk. I will pay you each a gold in advance for 10 days' work. And from there, we'll go from there.
Everyone seems quite enthusiastic. You see that Simona and Tama and Book are a bit on the more reserved side. They kind of keep their cards close to their chest. Zarik and Digby high five.
I like them.
Ragnhild tears off their shirt and says, "This is going to be the best adventure ever." And Malaya is like, "Ooh, oh, what should I cook first? We'll start off with a nice hearty stew. I think a lot of us might be a tiny bit hungover, so I think that'd be good. A little bit of hair of the dog in it."
I'm gonna slip an extra gold to our 3 new officers as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, so that'll be Malaya as your cook, Agni the monk as your quartermaster, and Simona the orc fisherwoman as their boatswain. All right. So as soon as you kind of break, everyone begins to disperse and they begin to set up the ship. And the camera will kind of zoom out a little bit, and you will have some time here to decorate and kind of gather supplies before you head off away from Saltmarsh. Just for like the sake of simplicity, we'll say that each and every person has their own private space. It can be different parts of the ship. Like you can have one like the captain quarters is probably Arlen's. We could say like, you know, if KayBee wants to have like a pantry closet to be refurbished into a bedroom, we could do something like that. We can be kind of creative with the actual layout of the ship. But why don't you tell me a little bit about your space here in the boat as you get to customize it? And we'll start with Arlen.
Ooh. Yeah, so I've got the captain's quarters, obviously, since I'm the captain and the most important person on the ship. And
Those are bold words for a boat that hasn't even left the moor yet. I feel like boasting that too much is gonna get a really quick mutiny.
Oh, she doesn't say that out loud,
Oh, okay.
obviously. But,
Obviously, okay.
I mean, in the captain's quarters, I've got a really nice like little hammock set up, and it's got like a bunch of pillows and things like that on it, just to help make me comfortable. I've got like a little, like, not even little, I've got like this pretty nice table like set up in the middle of the room. I've got like this big desk, like a table off to the side with a bunch of like maps and stuff on it. Some like nice little glow lanterns spattered about. A big, like, kind of how on the back of some ships there's like a bunch of like windows.
Mhm.
Kind of got that set up. It's just like a really nice, chill, giant room.
Okay. I will say that Imloth at some point brings a vase, and it appears to be kind of pinkish purple, and it's made to imitate coral. So it's like a glass coral vase, and there are 5 sea lilies in it, freshly picked. She leaves that in your room for you.
Ooh, that is so nice.
Excellent. Okay. Garen, what does your private space in the ship look like?
Yeah, I don't know, I'd say Garen would find a modest-sized room, take whatever bed is in there. There would be like peg hooks where he's got all of his quivers hanging, all like 4 quivers
Uh-huh.
full of arrows. An armor rack for his leather armor and a place to hang the bow. And of course, he would have a table for his poison kit and everything laid out there. And it's really quite austere and nothing special about it.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Spartan. Nothing special about it.
Okay.
The proper way, right?
I'm gonna say that Hannah gives you a gift. She will not personally deliver it, but we'll say that Agni, the dwarf monk, comes in and he says, "There's a delivery for you from a Hannah wrist. Would you like me to bring it directly to your chamber?"
Yes, please.
Very well. And he rolls in what appears to be a full keg of mead.
Oh.
And he holds out a cup, and you can see that the cup is actually it's actually quite nice. There's already a tap put into the keg, and this particular cup is silver, and it almost looks as it's more of like a goblet, right? It's like a very wide brimmed goblet, and along the sides there is a design that starts out kind of geometric by the base, and as it kind of comes down, wrapping down, it turns into knives. So the base looks like essentially 4 knives kind of making a neck for it, and then it flattens out.
Wow. All right, well, I guess we're having some meat as we set out.
I think this was meant specifically for you, but would you like me to announce to the others that you are sharing this?
Yes. There's no reason for me to drink all of this myself.
Very
It's
good.
unfair, especially after you brought it down.
Excellent. And then he just kind of turns and leaves. And he leaves the door open.
Karen closes the door.
Okay.
Well, he fills the goblet and then closes the door and he takes a drink.
Okay, it's very, very good. You can tell that this is a sort of honey mead. It's a lot nicer than the shit that y'all were drinking last night. You can tell this is a special keg.
This was, we got the cheap stuff and she didn't.
Yeah.
You would never drink this out of a boot.
No, you wouldn't. No. Yeah. Maybe if it was like a boot made of solid gold or something, you know.
That is so nice of her to send Garen a gift, but why him specifically?
I know.
I don't know. So weird.
So weird.
So
Yeah.
weird. The mystery continues. Pole, what does your little area look like?
Paul didn't even know he was going to get his own room, so he's not really prepared for that. So I think he just, throws his stuff in. He's never had really his own room before, so it's probably just going to be a mess because he doesn't really know what to do with it, and he'll leave his clothes on the floor, and he'll have his his mouse running around, and everything's just a chaotic mess.
So in your room, Tully kind of appears, sticking his head in through the doorway, and he says, "You've got an awfully lot of space in here.
Yeah, I know. It's weird, isn't it?
Do you want a roommate?"
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And he disappears, and you hear just this heavy, like, dragging of wood. Very heavy. The grunting of someone very small pulling some very large item. And he drags an enormous chest into the room, and he just kind of, like, awkwardly pushes it into one corner. And he drops his backpack, and he closes the door. And he sits down, and he smiles at you.
It's nice to have a roommate. I don't know if I could sleep just in a room all by myself. It's weird.
Right?
Otherwise-
I come from a family of 12 brothers and sisters. So,
Oh, it's pretty nice.
it is.
Oh, I never really got to know my sister. She died when I was wee, but I had lots of friends that were running around the streets with me. We just, we'd hide in whatever place we could.
Same vibe. You and me, same vibe. He grins again, and he has this, like, many-teethed grin, and it looks like a piranha's mouth.
I think Penny is not so into this guy.
Yes, I think so, too.
But Paul is just like, yeah, well, it's cool, whatever. And yeah, he's got his what was it again? Mechanical canary in his cage that he puts out, and he's got his pet mouse running around. He's got his loot kind of stuck up against the wall. I wonder if I should get a hook for that or something.
Oh, I can build one for you if you want. I'm a bit of a tinkerer.
A tinkerer? I got a picture too. I want to put this up on the wall. Yeah. And it's like a small portrait of a man and a woman with a baby in their arms.
Aww.
It's like, that's not my parents, but I found it, and it reminds me of my parents, so I like it.
It's very nice. Do you want me to help you hang these things up?
Yeah, I don't really know how.
It's really easy. Let me show you. And he opens his very large chest, and as he flings it open, you can see there's just a bunch of junk in it, right? He pulls out a hammer and a baton, and he's like, all right, I need you to hold it right there. And he's basically just going to nail climbing gear into the walls of your room and just hang stuff for you. And he's like, can I hang some of my stuff too?
Sure.
Okay.
Why not?
He hangs a pair of old socks using a baton. He hangs a tiny sketch portrait of a goblin. He puts it right next to your portrait.
Nice. Is that you?
No, it's not. I have no idea who that is.
Oh.
See?
Well,
same
you should come
vibe.
up with a name for him.
Oh, I'm gonna name him. I'm gonna name him Lawrence.
Lawrence. That's a good name.
It's a very good name.
I bet he went on lots of adventures.
Oh, yes.
Why do you hang up your socks?
Oh, those are not my socks.
Oh.
And it hangs like gold monocle frame that's missing the lens. Oh, and he's like, this one's my favorite. And he hangs up an invitation to a party where a murder happened.
I love Tully so much.
That's pretty cool. Who got killed?
Oh my goodness.
Someone by the name of Wyatt.
Wyatt. I wonder why it happened. This is great. I think we're going to be great friends.
I think so too. He's gonna hang up one more thing. Let's see. Oh god, this is terrifying. Alright, he just fucking nails a small cloth doll skewered with needles up on the wall. He's
That's
like,
pretty.
triumphantly throws up his hands as he looks around. We have the best room in the entire ship.
I don't know.
And I've been in every
Captain-
single room so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Well, I won't tell anyone if you won't.
You have to be kind of quick.
Hmm.
I didn't take anything.
Yeah.
He
Good.
says as he pulls something out of his pocket. He pulls something out of his pocket and puts it in his chest. It appears to be an old chess piece made from glass.
Oh, neat. I got this glass cat. I don't know where it came from.
Oh.
I just woke up with it in my pocket.
Because you can't remember the night before. Oh, fuck. You don't remember do you remember the curse?
No.
Nice. Okay. He says, oh, that's shiny. Do you have a name for it?
I think its name is Chendel? Yeah. Chendel.
Oh. Nice. Strong name.
I don't know what it means, but
I don't either.
it's probably a good name for a cat made out of glass.
I think so. Do you want me to nail that to the wall too?
No, just keep it in my pocket.
Okay.
This is buttons, and I'll find my mouse and holds it up.
As you do, his eyes start to like water. He says, I love animals so much.
Oh, me too. Me too. What's your favorite kind of animal?
All of them. I
All
love
of them?
bunnies.
Bunnies are nice. Bunnies are nice. I like my mouse a lot, but I mean, bunnies are pretty nice. The big ears and twitchy noses. And this right here is my best friend forever, Penny Sprinkle.
I think Penny's kind of stewing a little darkly, just kind of watching all of this with a look of scrutiny. I don't think Penny's excited about this at all.
I think Paul doesn't notice because he's so stoked on having a new friend.
Yeah.
He's being kind of a dick to Penny by not paying attention to her opinion at all.
Yeah, Tully just kind of like waves and just kind of dismisses her. And he begins to like show you all the other random stuff in his chest. And as he does so, we'll fade to black there. Finn, what does your little space on the ship look like?
How am I gonna top that?
I know you can't. Tully's the
can't.
best.
Tully's the best. Because I had been thinking this whole time. I'm kind of glad I'm last because I kept trying to think of what I want in my room, and I still don't, I guess. But like, is there a room that's sort of like, when we walk into these rooms, are they empty or do they already have beds in them?
You can decide 100% what you want it to look like.
Okay, cool. All right.
If you want to
So-
invent like I said, like a broom closet underneath the stairs or something, and you want to take up, you can do that. It doesn't have to be
Okay.
a bedroom. It's 100% up to
Okay.
you.
All right, so the little cabinet area that I'll have a bed. I'll have a nice little desk where I can place my locket at night and such, and kind of keep my things. Have a place to kind of put my coat, hold my coat. But I want a little spot, like a little bed area, kind of like maybe a doggy bed or sort of like a nice size bed for
Mhm.
Nims to sort of be able to sleep on and call his own.
Aw.
So I want to make sure that he is very, very comfortable, little dragon boy. And yeah, I think that's all Finn would really want is just some place to like, I don't know, have a candle at night to like lit or whatever, or a lamp or whatever to light at night or something like that. And just have a nice chill vibe place to go. But he's more concerned about, well, this little guy for whatever reason seems to really like me. I want to make sure that he's comfortable too. And then, yeah, I can't really think of much to put in my room. So
Okay. So, as you kind of finish setting up your room, Agni, the dwarf monk, comes up and he says, I have a delivery for you, Master Finn.
Oh, yes?
This is from an individual named Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeff. Oh, God. Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, yeah.
Very good. And he gives you a small wax bag, like a little pouch. He hands it over to you, and then he leaves. As you open it and look inside, you find that there are a pair of knucklebone dice in them. Each one of them has a skull symbol on the side that would normally show 6 pips. So they go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the side that would have 6, instead there's a skull.
Oh, kind of like how there's those novelty D&D dice where like the
Yeah.
20 and the 1 are different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and they kind of have a nice weight to them. You can tell that they are definitely masterfully crafted dice. These are not cheap. These are not something you could just find somewhere.
Well, could have been a lot worse coming from him. It sort of weighs on him. Okay, yeah, I think I'll keep these. I don't know what I'll need them for at the moment, but yeah, and then he'll find like a spot in his backpack or something, wrap it back up in its stuff for now, and just kind of place it somewhere in his backpack.
Okay. Do you give him a test roll before you put them away?
You know what? Yeah, I'll give him a test roll. I'll move stuff around my desk, and I'll go, you know what? I wonder.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a 1d100.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
79. Hold on. Does something happen?
Wild magic is the best.
Who said it's wild magic?
Meant inner dialogue.
Okay. Roll me a perception check.
I can read this time.
It's okay. That's persuasion.
I can't read.
I do that all the
I do
God
too.
damn.
They're right next to each other. Okay. You rolled a 6. You do have 3 nat 20s. Do you want to use any of them?
No, I'll go with it.
Okay, with a 6, you don't see it. So nothing seems to happen. They both land double skull. They have like a pretty hefty like clunk to them when you throw them on the table. Seem pretty nice. You pick them up, you put them away. And as
Yeah.
the camera kind of drifts away from you, we see that little flower petals are fluttering in the air behind you as you're kind of like moving towards your backpack. They trail behind you, and there's these little butterflies that kind of wink in and out of existence. And by the time you turn around to leave your room, they're gone, so you don't even see them. And I think that's where we're going to end our session for tonight.
Yay.
Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you so much for the show of support. Let me not put on combat music right now. Oops. I almost turned on. Yeah. Thank you.
Prelude to tomorrow? Prelude to the next time?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Thank you so much for the card draws, the nat 20s, all of the follows, all of the raids. Really, really appreciate the show of support. I hope that y'all enjoyed meeting all these NPCs. I put a lot of work into them, and they're going to be really fun to play around with, especially now that we have established our base. So I hope that KayBee can join us next time, because KayBee does have a number of surprises for y'all that are related to the boat, and I hope that we get to unveil those soon. I didn't want to spoil anything today. But yeah, we're going to go around, tell you who we are, what our favorite part was, And we're going to start off with Emma. Please tell me who you are, where we can find you.
Hi, it's me, Emma, also known as Emma Panada. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Emma Panada. On Twitch, we run TTRPG games, and on Twitter, I largely shitpost. I also am in the process of creating an original TTRPG called All the Witches. If you want updates on that, you can follow allthewitches_ on Twitter, where I'll be posting updates every once in a while. But I'm super excited. The goal is to kickstart it sometime early to mid next year. So we've got a lot of work to do still, but I've got the team together and we're starting to get to work. So I'm excited.
Excellent. And what's your favorite part, or do you have a star to give to somebody?
I want to give my star to Tully. Tully's the best. I love him so much. My favorite part was him nailing everything to the wall.
Hell yeah. It's easy. You just take the sharp object and apply the hammer to it. Very good. Thank you so much. Next, we have Godfather Wraith.
Hey, I'm Godfather. I don't really have a social media presence, so pretty much only find me here in Stella's chat or various other members of our community that also stream. Yeah, we pretty much have a shared community amongst several streamers. Yeah, I'd have to say my favorite moment was Jeff behind the bar.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was just so fun.
And then Garen taking over. That was pretty good.
Yeah. He's like, no.
I love that we went with a survival check and then you nailed it. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, Garen's got expertise in survival.
Exactly.
So
yeah, you were in your element.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if I roll a nat 1, Garen would have had 10 total on the skill check. So
that's wild.
I love it.
Thank you. Next, we have Indicarus.
Hi there, I'm John, also known as Indicarus, and yeah, I want to point out to people some of the links that that Stella's put up there. The Paper Cut Arcade is this art collective that I belong to, and we're currently doing our first event of the year, which is to make art and stuff out of calendars. It's called It's a Date, and we're going to be having a showing later in February about that. So I'll probably tell you about that after our next game, presuming we have one in a couple of weeks, like usual. For that, I actually made a board game out of calendars. So it's really just rules for a game, and you can take any like paper calendar and get some meeples and some dice and some counters and play a board game on a calendar. And it's kind of it's called Monster of the Month, and it's like a dungeon crawl where you go through the months and you have to pick off minions and bosses and collect their treasure, and whoever has the most treasure by the end wins the year. So that's in process. I'm expecting to have it done by Saturday, and then it'll come out and be finally published on my my itch site, which is also linked there. And I've got a bunch of other games that I made on there too, and little stories and stuff. So check that out. My favorite part of tonight's game, oh, there's so many, but I think my favorite part was that I made up the name of a dance, and Stella immediately just had 2 people who could do that dance, and they joined our crew. That was pretty amazing. Like, definitely the improvisation level was high tonight, and it was good.
Oh, thanks.
Well done.
I hope you are ready. Like, Dolphin Dance Night is going to be a regular thing on the Sea Lily.
Nice.
Love it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, we have Zombie.
Hello, I am Jacob. I'm Zombie. I am Z. I am one of those 3 names you like to call me. Lore Keeper, Clip Master. I probably do too many clips. That's up to your own discretion. You can find me on Twitter at ZombieFighter89, where I'm a little bit more active there lately than I have been. I found a thread that like just shows me Kirby stuff all the time, and considering it's its 30th anniversary this year, it's like flooded with Kirby art, and I love it. So you'll see me, if I'm not posting the tweet for one of Stella's various shows, it will be just a bunch of retweets of Kirby stuff. So have fun with that. I also do a show at 10 p.m. Eastern on Mondays with B Street Holmes, who is in our other game. And we talk about nerdy news, all kinds of fun stuff there as well. Speaking of the other game, I'm also there with Emma as well on the Witchlights. You'll see both of us here next Wednesday, so that'll be pretty fun. And then as far as other things for me, I'm in the process of trying to finalize sort of a pay system / resume / finalizing everything for that so I could be hired for things. I've recently been given a wonderful opportunity to be paid to do clips, and then later on in the month, I don't want to go into too many details in case things don't want to be said, but I will be involved heavily in a project where I'm getting paid for to do various editing, clips, highlights, and it just makes me so happy that I be giving these opportunities, and it gives me the confidence to be like, okay, maybe I can give this a shot. And so I want to get, since people have been asking me, what are your prices on certain things anyway, I really want to get a certain just price point down and be like, these are my rates, here you go, have fun. Instead of being like, I don't know my rates, because that doesn't sound very professional. Favorite moments of today, I'm going to do, you know what? I'm just going to do all of the different NPCs that we found on the boat. I think all of them bring their own charm and their own wonder. I can tell that you put a lot of work into them, Stella, so I suppose I could give the star to Stella as well.
Oh, thanks.
And so all of them have their different, like, you can just sort of tell they're all different. They all have different attitudes, different stuff. Obviously, Tully is the standout at this point with his wacky, like, crazy stuff and just all this stuff. Is that whole scene with Pole in the room was just fantastic. I'm just going, oh yeah, I nailed a wall. It was great. I was dying the entire time. Yeah, I just and then you know what? I'll say the whole party scene as well. Just having a fun little party in the Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Just having a fun little. It seems like we've had a little bit of a time with a lot of our sessions. It was kind of nice to have a nice, happy party, uplifting sort of like fun, haha episode. So.
Yeah, I didn't want to get us too far ahead without KayBee, because we are going to be entering into some pretty intense stuff pretty quickly once we head out into the marsh. And I just felt like it wouldn't be the same without KayBee. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I think next session we are definitely going to dive right into it, and we're going to be starting our adventure of Danger at Dunwater. It's gonna be great.
I'm excited.
Yay,
but Stella,
Danger.
who are you? And
Yeah.
what was your favorite
Me?
part of the session?
Yeah, who's Stella?
Who's Stella? I heard there's this nerd on Stella Luna. Hi everybody. If you enjoyed the content here, the free way that you can support us and encourage more of it is to give us a follow. You also get notifications for whenever we go live. This particular game, you can find all of our episodes on YouTube. The link is there in the chat. And we play every other Wednesday starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. My favorite part, honestly, was making up all of these NPCs. I have this long ass list of like all of their quirks, and I was just so excited that I was like, oh, I wonder if it's going to be boring just listing off a bunch of NPCs. But I think we were able to do it in a way that made them interesting and kind of plant the seeds where like we can have it feel like a living ship, because you can interact with each of these different NPCs and they're unique enough that they're going to carve out their own spaces as well on the boat. But for me, I will be back here on Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time for Unbound. That is our sassy, smooching all the hot NPCs and going around killing gods 5th edition original campaign. And then my very special announcement is that on Saturday, 9 p.m. is going to be the finale of our 3-shot miniseries of Urban Shadows 2. And that's going to be emceed by the Noir Enigma. And I would absolutely love, love, love to have y'all come hang out with us. Other than that, we have Strixhaven Sundays. It is something that we just started doing. So as a community campaign, it means literally anybody can come play. All you need is a microphone. You don't even need a camera. All you need is a microphone and a quiet place to play. That's it. And then you can just make a character. If you're interested in playing in our online campaign, all you have to do is hop into the Discord, let us know, and we'll point you in the right direction. That's 5 p.m. every Sunday.
Right. And I want to point out as well, like I like a thing to do almost every week. If y'all don't have anything to do Friday night and you really, really love D&D stuff, Unbound is, you can just tell it is a passion project from Stella. It is probably my favorite thing to watch on Friday. I hate that I miss them sometimes. I do enjoy my in-person game that I do on my every other Fridays, but it is seriously my favorite show on this entire channel. It is great. All of the characters are awesome. Stella puts a lot of love and work into this show. It'll be the best Friday night you'll ever have. Just come join.
Oh,
And then
thank you.
And then I forgot about Strixhaven because I'm actually going to be part of Strixhaven this Sunday. So,
Yay!
whoa, where I get to be Bam Thungers one more time.
Yeah.
And,
So with
get
the
to
way
have
that the Strixhaven community campaign works is that it's first come, first serve, and we literally we just prioritize people who haven't played before as well. So you basically get to skip the line and, you know, get to play soon, and then we just go up and down the list, and so the rosters are always different. So
and I'm excited for that crew.
That reminds me, I still need to finish my character.
Yeah, all you need to do is just make a character. That's it.
Yeah,
that's the threshold.
Give me a date to finish by.
Finish it by Saturday.
There you go. Easy.
Okay.
Homework.
There's plenty of
me.
open spots left. There's plenty of blank little sheets left for everyone to come and join. Come join. And as Stella has mentioned before, we are very much a learning community here. So if this is your first time playing, you're going to be around a bunch of people who are probably also new to this stuff.
Yeah.
It's a really fun. Strixhaven, I feel like, is really, really fun. And I get to play a wizard. And I feel like this is the perfect game to play a wizard since you're dealing with all kinds of magic and shit.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you so much for the raid, Guild Superior. Unfortunately, we are buttoning up and ending for the night. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for all the show of support. We will be back here, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday afterwards, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for more Saltmarsh. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.